Hello and welcome to the Velbouts. We're coming to you today with some technical difficulties that we just resolved, but with my duty of care, I'd like to introduce Steve. How are you, mate?
Damo, you there? Come in. Damo?
Roger?
Damo, you there?
Roger?
How are you, mate?
Oh, nothing like half an hour of just getting stuff sorted on your PC. Yeah, it's great. Good. Flying. Woo! Let's go.
That whole plan of going early didn't work out. We ended up being late.
Couldn't even get the notification out, so we'll have no one watching, which will be great.
These things happen. No change.
Yeah, beauty. Well, I know we've got ourselves sorted now. We're on fire, but
Of course we are.
before we know it, it's the Japanese Grand Prix this weekend.
It's come around quick.
Yeah, so maybe what we'll do is let's kick off. There's not too much supercar news, so let's kick that off at the start, and then perhaps we can do our little Japanese Grand Prix review. So with that, I've remembered the slides, the Supercars preview.
Woo!
We're done. Righto, mate. Do you want to let everybody know how dumb I can be with my April Fools?
Oh, it wasn't that bad, was it? It was a little
No,
bad.
it wasn't.
What we had Racing Insiders put out a post.
Yeah.
Shout out to those guys because they're quite funny on occasion. On April 1st about the Warpster coming back, and I thought I'll send this to Damo with a laughing emoji and see how we go. And he was angry until he realised.
This old boomer who was doing a million things at once between everything else in my life and just sort of saw it, fired up, just got angry and just like, what the fuck? And you're like, mate, what's the day? And I'm like, oh, yep, all right, got me. All right, I'm the sucker. Good work.
Look, to be fair, when I first looked at it, my initial reaction was no, and then I went, oh, hang on, I know what that is. So you're not the only sucker.
Well, yeah, true. And at least your April Fool joke to me worked better than Tickford's April Fool joke. Because no one really liked that one. It seemed to really miss the mark for some reason.
Yeah, I didn't read any of the comments and that, so maybe you can shed some light on it. But I did see it, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's dead set an April Fool's joke."
I think that was pretty much the there's always some people that do get it done, but yeah, I think most people were onto it pretty early.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, we've had some other news, mate. Like, what about young Aaron Cameron?
Yes,
he's locked in for the rest of the year, apparently.
Yeah, that's I think it's good. I mean, we've spoken about the team itself and probably their challenges anyway for this year, but thankfully they're going to give him the year to kind of just get himself settled and give him a chance to sort of see how he goes. And look, hopefully he has some success or has some luck. But yeah, I don't see too many changes despite any caliber of driver going in there. I don't see too much changing.
Look, I can see them getting up the order a little bit. I do. It's not that I don't rate Aaron Love. I think he's an excellent driver. But he just, for whatever reason, that particular car, maybe the Gen 3 car as well, hasn't quite suited him. I don't know until he drops into Enduro land probably and gets another shot at it.
Yeah.
But definitely at Bathurst last year and at Sandown, Aaron Cameron was the quicker driver in that instant.
Yep.
So I think we can expect him to be a little closer to JC typically, especially once he gets another couple of rounds in. But we'll see, I guess. We'll see if he can get it up the order or not.
Yeah, well, I mean, you say another couple of rounds. It feels like they left on the boat months ago to get their butts across to Taupo. And yet we've still got another whole week before we're racing there.
Yeah, well, have they even arrived there yet? I don't think they have.
Who knows? I don't think anyone's going to ask after the Tickford post, so...
I know, the thing that's really quite funny is to save money, they put them on the boat instead of putting them on a plane.
Yeah.
But it just... Yeah. Anyway, you got to make decisions right now. They obviously don't have the cash to stump up, but
Yeah.
yeah, it does seem a little strange.
It does. It does. And I guess one thing I did kind of enjoy was the Supercars, the drivers podcast that they put out.
Oh, that was an all Ford brigade.
It wasn't all Ford Brigade and a couple of Kiwis,
Yeah.
plus Kai Allen. So it was, yeah, it was. I think they're pretty good, to be honest. It's not a slight or anything because it's a Supercars thing, but I think they're pretty good. They have given them enough leverage to kind of talk, and especially when they all got onto the topic of Woody's penalty, and I think all the drivers did well to kind of thread the line of showing their respect for what Beardo does, but perhaps saying, mate, I think you got shafted, Woody.
Yeah, I think you could pretty well say you got shafted, couldn't you? I mean, no disrespect to Beardo, and to those guys out there also that go after Beardo, just leave him alone. He's playing by the rule book that he's given. Just let it go. We do need to. I mean, I think I've said this before. We need to change the narrative. It needs to be Supercars. Like, Supercars made the decision, not Craig Baird made the decision.
Yeah.
Because of this Supercars ruling, he's just the guy in the seat at the time. So he's just there. So, but yeah, it doesn't matter how often I go back and I have a look at it. I still don't see it as I see it as a Jack LeBrock problem, not an actual Woody problem.
Yeah, I'm in the same camp, buddy. I just think that it was a bad one, but I really do feel that if we're getting, some of that relaxed rule applications that he has done this year, I'll take a mistake like that every now and then, just so that the rest of the racing is better. So, yeah, fingers crossed we can get more of the same.
Can we say, because umpiring, no matter what code, it goes wrong.
It's worse in AFL, that's for sure.
Oh, mate. They're ruined this year. Let's not even get into that. We'll have to start an entire new podcast.
We can just do the bitching and moaning, hey?
That's it.
And then probably just the only other thing with the 6 hour coming up, there seems to be some record entries. There's really good turnout, which is great to see.
Yeah, massive turnout. Should be up there as well that weekend.
Yeah.
So that'll be really good to see. Got a couple of mates driving up there, not in the 6 hours this time around, but they're in some of the other categories that are running around the track. So it'll be cool to see. And I mean, you just got to hope in this instant, because you do get mixed levels in on the track at the same time, that we don't have any issues.
No one's playing for sheep stations. We'll be fine, mate. Absolutely fine.
I don't know if you've watched the last few 6 hours, but there's been passes on the corner down the grass. So playing for sheep stations for sure.
Yeah, just putting everything on the frickin' line, those crazy bastards sometimes. But yeah, that's it.
That's how Cam Hill got his job.
Very true. Very true. You gotta put it out there. Right, mate. Let's change gears and let's have a. I like it. Lucky I hadn't done the little slide
Intro.
But let's do a preview for our F1 round at Japan. Wow.
Whoa. Japan.
So
we are there.
Well, we are, and the liveries. How good. I like them. I don't like them. I love them both. I think they're a nice mix. Really classy. Yeah, I do like them.
Even the steak?
Did I miss the steak?
It's literally a meat livery.
Oh,
what an actual steak.
Hang on. What have I missed? Hang on. Okay, this will be worth a share. So, Japan steak F1. Tell me you're not April Fool's.
Unless I got that's the other option. I got April Fool's, but I thought it was beyond April Fool's when I saw it.
Yeah. It's
I'm pretty sure it's a giant steak. for the livery, and I can't find it at the moment.
No, I can find it. Let me do a little presentation.
Yeah, you go for it.
Share a little bit. I'll just zoom in for everyone. Oh, there we go. Oh, how about that? It's that's weird.
It's different.
And then even there, they've got April Fools, joke or truth.
Truth.
Apparently, so here's the front nose. Yeah, they've. Yep. It is a mistake. Hey. Okay, I don't like them all. I don't like them all.
You sure? I thought it would be a favourite.
No, because I like the green and black. It's that is a favourite of mine, but I'm not sure a meat-covered car, no matter how much I like a bit of a barbecue, that's not for me.
Well, a Tesla fan then.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. We said last week no more political shit because that'll put us in red hot seat there. Yeah.
Somewhere.
I did like the throwback for Oracle Red Bull Racing, and I like the blossoms that they had on the Haas. I thought that was really cool.
Blossoms on the Haas, tick. The Red Bulls are going to be hard to differentiate between the racing bulls, which kind of annoys me a little bit.
A bit more red, and then the other one's a bit more yellow. You'll be fine.
Yeah. One's got a bit of blood, one's got a bit of urine. Yeah, got it. But yeah, no, overall, they all look pretty good. I think Haas is the tick for me, though. I think that's the one I like the most.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Well, I wasn't sure. We're on the April Fool's stuff about the steak, and still not sure if that's real or not. But I wasn't sure about the whole Aston Martin thing. But it looks like there's duplicate reports now coming out that Aston Martin is selling their stake in the team. Do you like that?
It's too much fucking steak.
Okay, all right. No more puns. Okay.
Yeah, look, I also was looking at this just actually before because I was reading it going, are they really? But from what I can understand, they had a very limited investment in it anyway.
Yeah, it was a small bit.
So, and it won't change the makeup really of the team.
No.
Like, it'll still be as it is, and Aston will still be sponsoring the car. So,
yeah.
For the average punter, they're not going to know that this has happened. And yeah, it's not a non-article in the end, but it kind of is a non-article.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a weird situation to still have your name on the car, but you're not paying any more money. It feels, like there's people talking about, it's making room and Honda can drop in, or there's a whole bunch of things that people talking about. But it feels a little strange, but ultimately we won't notice anything different.
No, and the Honda argument is a fair one, but it does kind of sound like they just needed cash, like, at the moment, and to sell up and just get out of it was just the way to get that cash. But, I mean, they've had a lot on their R&D and stuff in terms of... Oh, sorry, hang on. Pardon me. A lot in terms of what they've put into the car side of things recently, so... Maybe they're just like, yeah, we just want to protect ourselves a little bit, so let's just drop off for the moment. They might reinvest later on. Who knows?
Potentially. Okay, we've got a bit of background noise, but that's all right. We're still trying to figure out the mics and stuff, but we're good.
Is that from me?
I think so. Sounds like you've got like a bit of a train running past, but we're all right.
Righto.
We're all fine. Everybody's happy. Righto, mate. Let's just get quickly onto the topic of Lawson versus Yuki Tsunoda. We had a chat last week, and we were talking about, wouldn't it be nice, or the best way for Liam to get back would be to beat Yuki. But Yuki has been talking a lot of, I won't say trash talk because he wasn't bagging Liam, but he's definitely selling tickets on himself.
He's taken the approach of speaking before he's jumped in the car, I think that's a risky move. But hey, you know, you do you, Yuki. At the end of the day, he was also asked, you know, if that's asking for trouble later on, and he said, no, bring the pressure, bring the criticism. I'm all for it. So.
All right.
Good for you, buddy. I definitely wouldn't have taken that approach. I would have taken the approach of I'm going to shut up until I'm in the car and delivering.
Yeah.
And then I might say, no, look, you know, the car's, you know, a bit more to my taste, and you know, Liam's a great driver, but you know, obviously I'm able to adapt to this one a little easier. But we'll see. If he goes out in Q1, he'll be in trouble.
Jeez, I'll tell you, it is a high stakes game that's playing.
Actually, that's a good point. What's the pass mark for that second car?
Oh, good question. And on short notice, I'm sitting here, I'm trying to think, would I accept, you know, realistically, it's always going to be based off where Max is. And we assume Max is going to be, say, top 5. So really, Yuki's got to be top 10 at a minimum. But you know, then you think to where Liam was, and so you know, maybe if he's in that 15 to 10, pardon me, then maybe that's all right. You know, I don't know.
I think he has to be in that 10 to 15 range personally. If he just makes it into Q2 but is at the back end of Q2, I don't think it's a pass. If he exits in Q1, it's a disaster. Because the thing that I'm looking at here, and for what everyone keeps forgetting, Liam didn't know the first 2 tracks.
Yep.
Yuki knows this track by the back of his hand.
Yeah.
So if he can't muscle that car somewhere half decent, then it's not a pass for me.
Yeah, and it's going to be a bit tough to gauge, you know, in comparison because of the facts of Liam had a different car. Melbourne, the weather was chaotic. He didn't know Albert Park. He didn't know, he doesn't know the tracks. And so this would have been his first. And when we sort of, you know, just to quickly touch on rookies and stuff, a lot of the rookies have had experience here. So it's going to be a good track for the rookies. But if they have changed, there were some whispers that perhaps they've updated that second car. And that would be, like, for me, that's a total injustice to Liam to give him a totally different car whilst expecting, you know, really good outcomes is pretty disappointing. And then Yuki gets a shot and they go, hey, we really should make some changes or give him the update, whether it was coming in or not. It just feels like they're giving Yuki the best shot, which is what they should do with the second driver anyway. But it just makes me feel more heartbroken for Liam.
Yeah, look, I tend to agree with that. I just don't think he's had enough time. I mean, we spoke about it last week, but he had a day and a half in pre-season, but he lost half of that running to issues with the car. So he luckily had a day, if that.
Yep.
And then he's gone to Melbourne with a completely different aero, as we know, and touched on, and everything that's happened there. And then he went to a sprint round. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
I know they have to, you know, people are like, oh, these are Formula 1 drivers. They need to just, you know, sink or swim. And I'm like, yeah, but sometimes you also have to take into account there's a lot of factors involved. And Liam's done a lot of work to get there. I can agree with you. You don't like his arrogance or things like that. That's a completely different subject, but the guy can drive.
Yeah.
And you don't just forget how to drive. So, yeah, I think it was pretty harsh. We'll be just interested to see what happens with Yuki and whether this is career suicide for him and what that'll make up, 7, 8 drivers that Red Bull have gone through. Happens.
Yeah, and it just shows that, you know, if Yuki's arrogance pays off, then he's going to be the winner out of all of this. If he's sitting there talking about how good he is on the simulator and then fails in real life, I think we might find ourselves in a bit of a position where I guess we need to talk to, which is kind of the main topic before we go on to the predictions and stuff, is really about the Red Bull Racing management, and at what point do they need to take accountability or responsibility for the failure of that second driver?
Yeah.
You know, and of the car. You know, if you think back to McLaren, they got rid of some key personnel when it wasn't working, and they were able to turn it around. They went from pretty much the back of the grid and bring the car forward, and now, you know, being, you know, arguably the best car in the field. So when does Helmut or Christian actually have to stand up and say, hey, we got it wrong? Or perhaps, you know, the environment that those people are providing the second driver, that they get held accountable, and someone from that Red Bull team, you know, from the Red Bull board or whatever, says, Helmut, you're interfering too much and we don't like your style, or Christian, you're not doing a good enough job. What point do you think that is where those conversations start coming up, at least in the media, which have only just started, right? Only just started. And that's been independent media, some podcasts. There was a podcast talking to Will Buxton where they were saying exactly this, and Will basically went, I'm with you. But no one else in the main media is really sort of touching on it at the moment.
No, I think they're hesitant too, because they know what that team is particularly like. And how I can imagine in the way they interact, they'd be pretty aggressive going after the media if they were coming after them.
Yep.
I agree that it's time for them to really take some level of the accountability, understand that they've delivered a shit car.
Yep.
And that it can't just always be on the driver. Yes, they've got Max Verstappen in there, and that's been the driving force. But I think they're starting to hit that point where they no longer have a clear direction or understanding of what they actually need. They've gone so far with Max's I want front, that now they've got an unbalanced car, and they can't work out what is actually a good car versus what is actually a shit one. Well, they should know what a shit one is, because it currently is there.
Correct.
Clearly, Max is some weird-ass god that can drive most things.
Yep.
And that's amazing, and we love him for it. But, that car's a dog. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
Max is just carrying it at the moment. And unfortunately, the second driver's just getting done with no lube, it would seem.
It would seem. And it has some, you know, the race did a good kind of, they unpacked the whole situation, but they never really touched on the failures of the management, really. They just focused on, what was wrong with the car and how it got to that point and how Max has covered that up. Got that burps tonight. Jesus Christ, mate. Sorry.
I know I did it before, so.
But yeah, I just sort of feel like they seem to always, it doesn't matter what happens, they're just Teflon, those two. They just keep getting through the ringer, don't they? Hornigate.
They've got too much power.
Yeah.
They've got too much power. I mean, at the end of the day, they basically own it between the two of them. And the Red Bull side of it, I don't know what the exact split is, but it just seems like they've got enough power to keep themselves employed forever. It'll take an absolute miracle to shift those two buggers out, I think. Unless they die. I mean, Helmut can't be far away. I don't know what his age is, but he looks old.
Yeah, he's definitely pushing to the 80 band, whether it's high 70s, etc. So maybe that's the change. That's when it will all suddenly unpack or unfold. Yeah.
I think I'll say this right now. Once Max leaves, and I do believe he'll leave within a year or two, they're stuffed. They are a back marker.
Yeah, because if no one else can drive that car, which is what, whatever it is, 8 teammates, if Max leaves, you're in a world of pain, aren't you? Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. And
that rumour is still persistent, that it sort of went quiet for a while and it's flared back up. And so just, it seems to be his bag. Yeah, he's not.
He's not happy.
Yeah.
So, yes.
All right, before we go to the rookies, you got one chat in there. I'd like to know what the test driver lap times are like with the Red Bulls. Yeah,
it's interesting, isn't it?
Because we only hear little snippets when they do the tests. Like when Danny Rick, they were like he was so close to Max that got him the shot back. We hear good things about what Liam's done. Who knows what those, sometimes they don't disclose enough information, because that would be something for us.
Every time someone jumps in that second car in a test, they go 2/10 off Max.
Good point.
2/10. Oh, he's only 2/10 away. Put him in. Really? Is it?
Yep.
I mean, they've got so much stuff. They've got the upper hand on absolutely everyone. They've got a 4-car team.
Yeah.
They see the data over 4 cars.
And yet...
And they still can't make a decision.
Yeah. Because it's all in the design of the car, right? They've just obviously done it wrong. So...
Correct.
All right. Right, well, let's close that one off. And let's do a very quick rookie watch, because, I think probably the main thing that was very disappointing to read, I think it was today or late yesterday, was Doohan's out, and I went, what? Oh, for FP1. Okay. Right.
That was the best. That was so hard. It got so many people who just headline read. It was great.
And they were firing off in the comments, and I mean, I still think that is the wrong. Like, get Gasly out. He doesn't need as much. Like, he knows the car. It just feels like let's just give a couple of these rookies just the hardest time ever of being able to try and get as much seat time, practice, and I don't know, ridiculous.
This early on in his career, where he just needs track time, like purely and simply needs track time. Just give it to him. I know he's driven this track a lot in his junior categories, but he's never driven it in F1. So just give him track time.
Yeah, I think that'll be important for all of them. And I think, just as a general statement for me, we don't need to go into each of the rookies, but it will be interesting to see whether Kimi can kind of keep pushing the way he is. He's been obviously the standout. And now Isaac is going to be paired up with Liam. So that's obviously a huge change in that team. So
it's going to be an interesting battle.
Yeah, it is. And then, we'll just see whether Bortoletto or Behrman. How
long are you going to run with that, though?
All right. Is it not funny? I'll drop it. Okay.
I love Portello, but
I just can't.
I've never seen it, but
no, true. I just can't get past. I just look at it and I always think it. And Behrman, I think it'll be good just to see how they progress and whether their cars, have got what it takes to kind of. We haven't talked about, what are the cars going to be like, because this is yet another circuit that's going to be different, where you've got those high-speed flowing corners, some really heavy braking markers, so it's it'll be interesting to see how they go.
Can I just put something out there that might be a hot take?
Of course.
Antonelli's not doing good enough.
Okay, was not expecting that as a hot take. Okay, not doing well enough. Tell me why.
Look, he was fortunate in Australia with strategy to get himself into that top 4.
It's not fortunate. Yes, anyway. Yep.
But that race at China, he actually, again, he was fortunate with the Ferraris being deleted. He actually started 8th and finished 8th.
Yes.
And considering
what? He's a rookie?
Grid, and I think in a Mercedes where we're seeing George fighting in 3rd most of the time, 3rd, 4th. I think he should be. He should be fighting a little closer, especially for the talent that.
Let me caveat at a circuit he's never raced at before. I think
yes.
Okay,
I agree.
You kind of make your luck. Yes, your drivers have luck, and like he's there, and he ended up 6th. That's what he got. But I sort of feel like for a rookie, I think it was. I'm not talking about outstanding in any way, shape, or form, but it's a really solid performance.
It's a solid performance, but I think he should be just pushing a little bit harder. Just a little bit.
Oh, God.
Just want to see something. At the moment, I'm kind of feeling like this is Feeney.
Well, not even close. Not even close. And again,
that's going to piss off some people if they see it.
Possibly. But it's not even close because, Feeney has all the support from a lot of people, whether it's drivers, the teams, or the commentary, about how good he is. And we know he's a great driver, but he has not performed anywhere near the expectation. And that's where it's at the moment. We said it last year. He really needs to take it to Brown, and he got smashed. And then we're seeing already at the start of this year, only a couple of races, but we're seeing that is a problem again. So
I'm not retracting my statement that I think he can do better. I agree with you that he's doing exactly what a rookie should be doing at this given point, which is banking points, staying on the board, just not getting into trouble. But I just want to see that Monza flair without the crash. Right? Because I think he's holding maybe just a little bit too much back. It might be at 95%. I want to see 97. Be within yourself, sure, keep the car clean, everything else, but just want to see get a little bit closer to George and give him a hard time.
I think if you were marking my exams in high school, I would have probably failed. I got pretty close as it was, but Jesus, you are a hard task master.
I can be.
All right. Speaking of hard tasks.
Yes.
Oh, I've done the wrong one.
No, what have you done?
Predictions.
Woo! Prediction.
I'm just kidding. I got the right one. So, because I was so good at my predictions, I'm going to let you go first, and then you can tell me what you think is going to happen for the F1 in Japan.
First, is this a sprint race, Taylor?
Hang on. No.
Oh, it's good. Unlike last week where we sort of kind of stuffed that up. Mind you, I feel like in sprint races, we just won't worry about sprints. Okay. I've got a feeling this weekend.
Oh, that tonight's going to be... Oh, no. Yeah, okay, sorry. I went into a song. Anyway.
You did. It did play in my head for a second. Well, I let it go. Oh, hang on. Oh, pardon. Sorry, everyone.
There's a compilation there.
It is.
I'll grab that short.
I think...
Yes.
I believe, in my heart of hearts,
you can fly.
that Oscar's going to go on a run.
Okay.
And I am predicting that he is not only going to take pole position, but he's going to take the win this weekend.
Ooh.
And I think Norris will finish second. I think he'll be okay, but he'll be starting to lick his wounds a little bit, because he's number 2. And Russell will just pick up the third like he always does. And, if Ferrari can actually
boring
not get disqualified, maybe they'll pick up the rest.
Boring. Go, be as safe as you can and just go, I'll just copy and paste from last round. Gosh. All right. It's always up to me to be the one that throws out the curveball and then just looks stupid. So I'm happy to keep going. And I have confirmed absolutely 100% on the screen, not a sprint round. So we're okay, mate. We're okay.
Magic.
Right.
Magic.
So
right, Damo, what do you got?
I think Norris is going to get pole. I have a feeling that he's just going to be faster and he's going to feel like it's all there. And then in the race,
did he lose it?
Piastri is just going to go, nah, mate, I'm number 1. I'm coming on through.
Are we getting a cross setup?
Yes, I reckon we are. I feel like it's just going to start happening where they're just going to come across where one's going to pick one of the battles and the other one's going to win the war, so to speak, for that round. So I've got Piastri to win. Norris is going to take second. And then I've got Hamilton. I've thrown in Hamilton because I like him more than Russell. And it's a Ferrari, so why not?
I think everyone likes him more than Russell. Other than the Stappen fans.
We know lots of people that think he's a crybaby and don't like Lewis, but I guess I've never asked those people what they think of Russell, so who knows?
No, their opinion doesn't really worry me too much, typically. Most people who don't like Lewis just don't like the fact that he's been as successful as he has been.
I saw on another, it was a short or reel or something, but another podcast. So it was basically, he could have been an 11-time world champion. When you just take out...
Shambles that said that?
Yeah, it might have been. I think he got it from this podcast. He did actually mention the podcast too. But yeah, you just take out like small things from each of those years. You know, obviously the Massey decision, which was very controversial, or still is controversial. You know, he could have won that one, right? You look back all through the years, it was just little small things, tire blowouts, like small things that would have changed the trajectory. And of course, you know, you give him that win over here, and then you don't know what's going to happen later on. But it could have been 4 races just to make him an 11-time champion, to win 4 more champions. And when you start running them through in your mind, you think, oh, he was so close.
Mate,
so close.
I don't care what anyone says. He came in 2007 against Alonso in his first year and almost took the championship.
So spicy.
Like, you can't sit there and say, it's just the car. Alonso can drive.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just the car. He's got a lot of talent as well.
Well, that's it. I mean, and I think the proof of that is, you know, no slight at Norris, but, you know, had the fastest car last year, was the most comfortable with it, while Oscar was still getting up to speed, and, you know, couldn't always transfer that to wins. And so there is that extra edge that people like Hamilton seem to be able to drag out of a car. So
correct.
Yeah.
Correct. No, I like it, mate. I don't mind that. I wouldn't, you know, begrudge Hamilton having a win either, if he can. But, yeah, I think those McLarens are just toying with the field at the moment. There's a lot of talk about, you know, China, they came back to the field. I think it's just set circumstances. It was a sprint weekend rather than anything else. And I think they'll reassert their dominance again this weekend.
Yeah, and I think, like, you think about, like, we've got Japan, which is a very different circuit, but then after that we have Bahrain, and that's going to be our first opportunity to kind of see them go back to where they did all testing, that they'll really, you know, everyone has a good set of data. So
this is a triple header now. This is a triple header.
I know. So Japan, Bahrain, Saudi. Nuts. It's crazy. Crazy for us.
I mean, it takes 5 weeks for a supercar to get to New Zealand, and we'll have 5 races for F1. It's ridiculous, anyway.
Shots fired.
All over the world.
And you know what? They deserve it, because I know we're limited in budget and limited in all that stuff, but geez, it's a long time between rounds, isn't it?
It is. I'm missing it. I just want Waters to come out and win again.
Jeez, I tell you what, he needs to at Taupo, because we'll touch on all of our thoughts on the Taupo round probably next week, because that'll be the lead-in, so we can do a wrap-up with Japan and lead into Taupo, and hopefully sort through all these technical issues and get us shit sorted.
Let us know, peeps, in the comments and stuff. Was the audio any better? We did make some changes. I'm not sure. I think it might be what we're using, to be fair, not the actual microphones themselves, but the software that we're using. If that's the case, we'll probably have to try and find a solution to that. But hopefully it's a little better.
Maybe. Wait till you hear the playback, mate. Oof. Maybe it's just my headphones.
Probably isn't.
I'm really crossing fingers. I'm hoping so. All right. Well, with that, I guess that is it, mate. We will catch everybody next week. Keep up to date on the socials, and look forward to hearing from you, whether it's on the posts or in the chats. Well, thanks very much.
Let's go, Oscar!
Oh, Piastri, 2-time winner in 2025.
Yeah, sounds good to me. See you guys.
Lights out. See ya.